If everyone will please take their seats, and we'll be starting shortly. I wouldn't have done it. Okay, this is at the start. So let's pause. Okay, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Oops, wrong place. Sorry about that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats so we can begin this morning's general session. Sergeant at Arms, are the doors secure? Thank you, sir. With the colors of our nation, please stand up. No gavel. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm lying over here. They hit it on me. Okay, I'll do it officially. All right, with the colors of our country in place, please render a hand salute. 1, 2. At this time, I'd like to call your attention to the empty chair that has become an important part of our meetings. Draped with the black POW MIA flag, the chair reminds us of our countrymen who have yet to come home or be accounted for from the wars of our nation. The POW MIA chair also reminds us that to be lost, that the POWs that are lost or we are still waiting for the remains for them to come home. And it's a very real possibility for the men and women who are fighting the war on terror and other ongoing conflicts in the Middle East. Please. Okay, the two gentlemen are ready. Accordingly, at this time, the Department's Southern Vice Commanders, Gerald Bowman and Ron Ortelheide, will place the POW MIA flag on the empty chair and light the memorial candle. A reminder for all of us to spare no effort to secure the release of any American prisoners from captivity, the return of those remains of those who died in defense of liberty, and a full accounting of those still missing. Let us rededicate ourselves to this vital endeavor. All right, everyone is uncovered. Pastor Norris Kern, would you please lead us in the invocation?
My privilege, Commander. Shall we be in an attitude of prayer? This is the day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. Our gracious Father, we come to give you glory, to praise your name, and to ask for your blessing upon our assembly today. We pray your blessing be upon our department commander and upon our national commander as they give us leadership. We thank you for all the people in leadership positions that do their job diligently, and we thank you for all our Blue Cap Legionnaires who work so hard among the posts and the districts to do such a great job. We want to bring a great harvest of service with all of our programs that we do in the American Legion. We want to show our compassion for veterans, compassion for our communities, and to do good that we may please you. As we gather this morning, we are mindful of the brave young men and women across our globe, those who put themselves in danger and those who keep the home fire going while they're deployed. We ask your blessing upon all these brave young men and women, and we are thankful. Now give us a good conference that we might give you glory. We ask this in your divine name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Let us recite the Pledge of Allegiance together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in reciting the preamble of the Constitution of the American Legion, and let's pause for the American Legion Auxiliary at the required moment. Correct? Thank you, President. All right. Let's start. Forgotten country, we associate ourselves together for the following purposes: to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, to maintain law and order, to foster and perpetuate a 100% Americanism, preserve the memories and incidents of our associations and great wars, to inculcate a sense of individual obligation to the community, state, and nation, to combat the autocracy of both the classes and the masses, to make right the master of might, to promote peace and goodwill on earth, to safeguard and transmit to posterity the principles of justice, freedom, and democracy,
to participate in and contribute to the accomplishments of the aims and purposes of the American Legion, to consecrate and
sanctify our comradeship by our devotion to mutual helpfulness. Hey, that worked out pretty good. All right, I now declare the general session of the American Legion, Department of Indiana, to be regularly convened. Before we begin today's business, I'd like to wish all of you a warm welcome to the 2017 Fall Conference. We have a great deal of work to accomplish and some fun planned too. I know you'll make some valuable take some valuable information home with you, and I encourage you to put it to good work and share it with your fellow Legionnaires. I'm sure you're anxious to get started, so let's begin. At this time, I'd like to have a few brief announcements from our newly appointed Adjutant Will Henry. Let's give him a hand.
Thank you, Commander. The first announcement I'd like to make today is the Big Four Committee of the Big Four largest veteran service organizations in the state are conducting town hall meetings across the state. And in these meetings, the congressional representatives, your state representatives, your local city council, town council, all the way down to the bottom level are being invited to these meetings. The next meeting is scheduled to take place at Post 64 here in Indianapolis, October 17th. That's a Tuesday. That'll start at 7 p.m. We're hoping to get as many folks packed into Post 64 to talk about veterans issues, any concerns that anyone has, to directly address those with our legislators, to put the question directly to them and see how they respond to it. So we want to encourage as many folks to come out to those as possible. The next one, yes, it happens to be in Indianapolis, but there'll be some other ones around the state too, and we'll keep you updated on those as well. The Indiana Military Veterans Hall of Fame is nearing completion at the department headquarters location. It's looking really good. National Commander took a visit there. Some photos on the Facebook site and things like that's coming soon. So there are still brick space available. So please, if you have not and you're interested in purchasing a brick for yourself or a family member, maybe a friend, please do so on the department website, indianalegion.org. Don't forget about that. We're also looking for 100 volunteers for Veterans Day Parade to march in the parade. We're going to have 100 veterans marching with flags in their hand for that parade. So if you're interested in that, come to the department website again, indianalegion.org. There'll be more information on there in the next coming week or so. Smoking in the courtyard. Please do not smoke in the courtyard. Smoke on the outer perimeter entrances, at least 8 feet away from those doors. Commander, that is my last announcement. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to introduce the 2017-2018 department and district officers. I ask that you can please stand, be recognized, and remain standing till all the names are called off. And please hold your applause. All right, National Executive Committeeman Jerry Jordan. Alternate NEC Ed Trice. Our Northern Vice Commanders Jim Hamilton, Dennis Pettit. Southern Vice Commanders Darrell Bowman, Ron Ortelheide. Membership Chairman Ron Byerly. Sergeant at Arms John Sarnecki. Finance Officer Tony Riley. Assistant Finance Officer Jim Tracy. Judge Advocate Joe Bumbleberg. Assistant Judge Advocate Terry Smith. Department Historian Steve DeFeo. And Department Chaplain Norris Kern. Please give them a wonderful applause. Thank you. Please take your seats. I'd like to introduce our commission chairman. I always feel sorry for these guys. Nobody knows how hard they work till you get that job. But it's their duty and they volunteered for it. Americanism, Mark Gullion. please stand up and remain standing. Children and Youth, Jim Dobby. Internal Affairs, Ellen Conley. And Rehab, Bob Oath. Please give these outstanding Legionnaires a welcome. All right, now we come. Now please recognize our distinguished district commanders. Hopefully they'll be distinguished and not extinguished at the end of this conference. And they know why. Everybody should. Membership is of prime importance. Commanders, please stand up as I call your name. Remain standing and please hold your applause. First District, Joe Simonetto. I guess he is here, way back in the corner. All right, District 2, Pete Amity. District 3, Alex Magyar. District 4, Jim Tempe. District 5, Jack Garwood. District 6, Richard Culp. District 7, Gina Owens. District 8, Larry French. District 9, Bill Sherrod. District 10, Lori Bowman. District 11, Reese Morgan. All right, how about a round of applause? I'll tell you what, these past few months, they've been really working their tails off, so I really appreciate their work, appreciate the work they've done. Each year, the district commanders face a huge challenge to reverse the steady decline of membership and put us in a position to gain more. These are the folks in the field doing hard work, motivating our volunteers to recruit eligible members in the state. I expect this weekend's membership turn-in to continue and hopefully to turn around and be on the plus side. As you know, membership is our lifeblood, and it's up to each and every member to reach out to our veterans in the American Legion community to spread the word of the American Legion family. And that includes our wonderful auxiliary and the SAL. I'd like to give you a hand. I'd like for you just to remember our district commanders again. Keep them in mind because without them getting to the posts, we wouldn't have a good membership drive. So again, I thank you. The Indiana American Legion provides our fellow citizens with support through a variety of programs benefiting our state's veterans and their families. We owe a great debt of gratitude to the leaders of our organization who, over the past years, have developed and maintained these programs and activities. Many of them are with us this morning, and I'd like for you to join me in expressing our respect and affection for them. Will all the past department commanders who are present please stand up and be recognized? And they actually do help me out now and then, especially with a lot of advice. Okay, another group of distinguished Legionnaires we'd like to recognize are all the past national officers in the audience today. With the representation at the national level over the years, these Legionnaires have kept our department on the forefront of national issues and have represented the department well over the years. Will all the past and present national officers in the audience please stand and be recognized? And we certainly want to highlight our past national commander, Jimmy Couts. We also recognize our past department commander, past national vice commander, and currently the National Internal Affairs Commission Chairman, Bob Newman. And we also have a gentleman, he's hiding out there someplace, the past National Sergeant at Arms, Al Polito. Oh, he's hiding out in the corner there. All right. We've had a busy start to this Legion year, to say the least. We've banded together and provided aid to our brothers and sisters, both in Florida and Texas. And we continue to support those impacted by the storms in Puerto Rico. We met for Legion Day at the department headquarters and raised more than $20,000 for veterans, their families, and our communities. And we kicked it all off with the historic National Convention this year, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. First of all, I'd like for you to pay attention to the screens on my right and left. Please watch this video of your department officers as they march through the downtown Reno to represent more than 160,000 Hoosier Legion family members right here in Indiana. The Indiana delegation is going to look lively today. They're going to put some pep in their steps, call cadence, and look sharp. We have the auxiliary, the SAL, as well as all the Legionnaires going to participate.
The Indiana delegation is great. We are really out there and we are supporting our veterans 100%. We're all camaraderie, we're all together as one unity in the USA. We're all out here supporting them.
The most exciting thing about the parade is just see how many people come out to support the American Legion. I've noticed here in the last few years, me being on the color guard in Bloomfield, marching in the parade, it's been a complete turnaround of the people getting up, taking their hats off, supporting the flag, and I want to see if it's that way out here in the West also.
Extremely proud to be here with our fellow Legionnaires, representing more than 160,000 Legion family members back in Indiana. Indiana is the home of past National Commander Jim Downs. The Department of Indiana is under the command of Marty Siegelwitz. The Women's Auxiliary is led by Peggy Bishop, and the Sons of the American Legion is under the command of Joe Solches. Again, it's a pleasure to be here with our brothers, sisters, and Legionnaires from across the nation. We look forward to seeing you at the Centennial.
Hey, that was pretty slick. You know, we should thank our communications director over there, Tim Sproles. He's hiding out in back there. That way, stand up, Timmy. Now listen, I got to apologize to the ladies over here. They weren't too happy with me at that convention. But I told them, I says, listen, all these years it was Legion, the Auxiliary, and then the SAL. Well, I switched it. I said, we're going to do the Legion, the SAL, and then the Auxiliary. And the reason for that is John Crosby this year was counting cadence. And this was the first year that we were able to hear him count cadence because we put these ladies in the back because they sing so loud that we can't hear anything. So I don't think they were too happy with me, but it really worked out good for the Legion guys. You know, half of us are deaf anyway, so, you know, it makes it tough. All right. We've had a busy start to this Legion year. And let's see, we still have too much to do, but as you all are aware, we have a very special and distinguished Legionnaire with us today. To say the least, the 99th National Convention of the American Legion was truly historic. A couple of first ever events occurred on the stage in Reno, Nevada, and that was back in August. First, and this is for the first time ever, the President of the United States signed an executive order on stage. The order is designed to streamline the VA appeals system to provide some relief on the years for the backlog in the VA. Secondly, the American Legion elected our first ever female Legionnaire to the high office of National Commander. She hails from the Department of Wisconsin and truly believes in putting the American Legion family first. Now I'd like to call on our newly elected National Executive Committeeman, Jerry Jordan, for the purpose of an introduction. Jerry?
Thank you, Commander. Good morning, Legionnaires, Legion family members. I've had the honor this weekend of having our National Commander, and many of you have already met her, but I'm going to tell you a little more about her than maybe I did at some of our meetings that we had. Denise Norton was elected National Commander of 2 million members American Legion on August 24, 2017 in Reno, Nevada during the 99th National Convention. She is the first woman to ever be elected to this top position of the American Legion. Born in McGregor, Iowa, Denise Hobart Rowan lived in Elkader, Iowa until leaving for the United States Army basic training at Fort McClellan, Alabama in 1974. She served on active duty as a stock control and accounting specialist and repair parts specialist course instructor at Fort Lee, Virginia, until her honorable discharge in August of 1976. She has served the American Legion since 1984, and while commander of Post 333 in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, she established the Sons of the American Legion Squadron 333, and she chartered a Boy Scouts troop 333, and she also served as a department commander of the state of Wisconsin. She and her husband are both 2000 graduates of the National American Legion College, and both have gone on to serve as Department and National Legion College facilitators. Rowan is employed with the University of Wisconsin at Madison as the assistant bursar of students, the student loans until she was retired in 2012. She is a graduate of the Mount Scenario College and the Collegiate Management Institute. Her theme as National Commander is Family First, and she's going to really tell you what Family First means here in a little bit. And her fundraising projects will provide temporary financial assistance to needy children of veterans and the training for American Legion service officers. She has been married to her husband, Mike, since 1976. They have a son, Nicholas, daughter-in-law, Angie, grandchildren, Sawyer and Isla, granddaughter, Isla. And Mike is also very active in the American Legion on both sides of, of the state and the national level. He is a past department adjutant. Nick and Sawyer are both Squadron 385 members, and Isla is a member of the Auxiliary Unit 385. So it's my great pleasure, and let's make sure that she knows how appreciative we are of her, to introduce to you our National Commander, Denise Rowan.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks. Past National Commander Couts, and I have no idea if Past National Commander Miller is still in the room. There he is in the back of the room. Commander, officers, Madam President, auxiliary members. My fellow American Legion family members, it is quite an honor to be here. And I first want to start by thanking you for your hospitality, for both myself and my aide, Mike, who is around someplace taking pictures. We have had a great time learning more about the Department of Indiana, and we have been having a lot of fun, too, getting to know some of you a little bit better. It is so strange to be in Indianapolis and not be downtown, so it's great to be out here with all of you before we go downtown for the rest of the week. I want to talk a little bit about my theme of Family First and why I chose that theme, because obviously we are a family. But it all starts with our relationship that we have with God, and then it's our personal families that we had while we were growing up. But when I went off to basic training, I got terribly, terribly homesick. And the thought of being able to call my parents after the first week of basic training, and I cried for the whole phone call. And my mom was so supportive of me, and I have no idea how she managed to listen to me cry for so long on the phone. But somehow during those conversations, she helped me understand that the women that I was in basic training with at Fort McClellan, Alabama, were my new sisters. And that I needed to start depending on my new sisters like I did on my family that I grew up with. Because through basic training, we learned that we had each other's back and we took care of one another, and we made sure that we succeeded in everything that we did during basic training. And when it came time to leave Fort McClellan, Alabama, and move on to Fort Lee, Virginia, I felt sad and I was homesick again, going to miss my new sisters. And I went to Fort Lee, Virginia, and there I got a new family, new roommates, new people in the barracks, and every place we went from transfer to transfer in the military, we got new families. And then there came the time when we left the service. And when we left the service, we landed up in a town that I didn't grow up in. It was actually a state that I didn't grow up in, and my husband Mike and I were sort of not really part of the community yet, but there we were living there. Both of us had taken an oath to protect and defend the nation, and no one ever said we were done with that task. So there we were in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, not really feeling a part of the community, when we realized that there were others in that community who had gone through the same experiences we had, namely going through basic training. That's what made us a family, and we found the American Legion family, and they welcomed us in, and they helped us grow and become part of a new family and a new community. And the beauty of that was that our son was able to grow up in the American Legion family as well. And he had so many grandmas and grandpas. It was amazing, that family connection we had. And we worked in the community, and we did all of the great, great work this great organization does, and we worked the 4 pillars, and we learned as much as we possibly could. And then September 11th happened. And as we're working in the community, and we realized that we had another family that we needed to make sure we took care of. We were taking care of veterans and their family, and we were always talking about taking care of our military and their families. But really, when 9/11 happened and our National Guard started to get called up, and all of those families were being left with a hole, with a member missing from their family, we again stepped up to take care of, embrace more families. So when we would go to deployment ceremonies and we would ask our military personnel, our heroes, what we can do to make sure that they have one less worry on the battlefield, their answer was always, always the same. It was always, please, take care of my family first. They didn't worry about what trials and tribulations they were going to face overseas, because you see, they were well trained and they had the equipment they needed. They were worried about their families here at home and making sure they were taken care of. So family first. And as you see all of the military personnel, as they're working together, all the branches of the service, to make sure that we have a strong national security, and our military forces are fighting very strongly together. all of the branches started working together, the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, the Coast Guard. As they all started working together and they started training together, they said the military purpled up, because when you take all the colors in those uniforms, you mix them all together and you get purple. So when it came time for me to try to figure out what color the membership shirt would be for this year, and I think of my theme of Family First, and I think about the American Legion, the auxiliary, our Sons of the American Legion, and our American Legion Riders, and I think of the colors of all of our hats, and joining forces to be stronger and to work together, it just made sense that purple would be the color for the current year. So that's why the American Legion family is purpling up this year. It's to show that we're joining forces as an organization, as a family, and we're not only joining forces amongst the American Legion family, we're joining forces with our military personnel, and it just so happens that the color for military kids is purple. Now, through the work that we're doing with our military families over the years, I've had the opportunities to actually see some of the work that the American Legion family is doing. And there was one particular instance. I was at a Veterans Day celebration, and the speaker for that day was a Gold Star father. And as he was talking about his son who had been killed in Afghanistan, there was a little girl that was in the middle school choir who was sitting right next to the stage. And this little girl in the choir started to cry. And the more the man spoke about his son, the more upset she got. And I sat there trying to figure out what this relationship could possibly be. And I was hoping that that wasn't her grandpa talking about her father, because I thought that's just not fair to a little girl to have to sit through that. The more the man talked, the more she cried, and the more upset she got. And the more her friends tried to comfort her, she was really upset. And pretty soon the teacher finally saw her, and the teacher brought her out of the choir and took her to the back of the room where her mother was. At the end of the whole service, I was still so curious about what was the story of this little girl. And the mother and the little girl came to me. Now, I was one of the only Legionnaires there. I had my Legionnaire cover on. And she came to me, and the mother asked if she could give me a hug. Still confused, of course, I said, sure, and she gave me a hug. And the mom explained to me that right after her husband had been deployed, there'd been a fire in their house. And not only had there been a fire in her home, their hot water heater also went out around the same time. And as soon as the American Legion family in that town heard about what had happened, and they had been paying attention to the military personnel and the National Guardsmen who had been called up from their area, as soon as they heard that there was a fire, the American Legion family stepped in, and the American Legion family helped clean up, and then they helped rebuild, repaint, and bring that house back to the normal condition. And not only that, but the American Legion service officer came in and helped fill out a temporary financial assistance form to replace the water heater in that home. Now, I thought, man, that's really, really something. And I was so proud of the American Legion family, and she wanted to give me a hug for all of the support that our family had given to her. But then she went on to explain, because she knew that in her mind, the American Legion family were heroes to her, because she felt that we saved her husband's life by doing that. And not only that, but we helped keep the unit that he was over safe also, because she knew that she got to call her husband and tell him how great the American Legion family was in their hometown, because there was a fire and how it was all cleaned up and the water heater was replaced and everything was good. Had the American Legion family not stepped up, and had she had to call her husband and say, there was a fire in our house and the water heater's out and I don't know what I'm going to do, her husband would have taken his mind off of his mission And he may have also taken off his mind off of the orders he needed to give the men that were under him. And by taking his mind off the mission, there's a good chance he would not have come home safely. She understood that that's the difference that the American Legion family made in her life and the life of her husband and all of the men that served under him. Now, what's the rest of the story? Because I still, all this while, I'm thinking, well, that's really fantastic, but what's going on with her daughter? Why was she crying? And I heard that her husband was home safely. He's retired. He has a good job. Everything was good. But this little girl, as she sat in the choir, this little girl, when her dad was deployed, she was the oldest of 3 children. And as the oldest child and a vacancy in the home when her father left, she was asked to step up and take on some adult roles in the family. And this little girl knew, a middle school child, knew that part of her responsibility was to make sure that her brother and sister didn't worry about her dad. And so in the process of making sure that her brother and sister were okay, she had all of these emotions and all of these fears that her dad wasn't going to get home safe, that her dad might have gotten killed in combat. All of those emotions that she had pushed down for each of his deployments. As she sat and listened to the story of a soldier who didn't come home, all of those emotions came bubbling out of her. And the more he talked, the more upset she got over thinking that she thought she wasn't afraid about her dad, but she really was. And she finally released all of that. And her mom never realized what she was holding in all those years. Now, once again, the American Legion family had the opportunity to say, we need to make sure that this little girl gets some help. So we helped connect her up with some counseling for military families. And the little girl got her counseling, and then the family got counseling because it really was a whole family issue. That little girl today is a normal little girl. But not only that, but she steps up and helps other military kids understand that it's okay to be worried about mom or dad, but it's also okay to be a kid while they're gone and to live a normal life, as normal as they possibly can. That's the American Legion family. That's what we do, and that is who we are. Now, there are a lot of misconceptions about what the American Legion's all about. They don't understand about our 4 pillars, how we're taking care of our veterans and their families, our military personnel and their families, taking care of the children of this nation, and our Americanism programs. All of those fantastic programs that we have, American Legion Boys State, American Legion Auxiliaries Girls State, our baseball programs, our shooting sports, our oratorical contests, all of those scholarships we do, all of those individual little things that you do in your post that make a difference in this community, and all of our youth champions that we have, our communities don't necessarily know that that's what we're doing and that's what we're all about. They have this terrible misconception. So on Veterans Day and every day that you possibly can, I ask you to please open your doors to the community, especially on Veterans Day. Open your doors and invite the community in so they can see and they can understand exactly what it is that our great, great American Legion family does each and every day. Invite them in. Invite them in, and then, as an added bonus, with the help, I'm sure, of your technical staff, post on social media that you are serving the community and how many veterans that you are taking care of that day and how many family members and how many community members are coming in. Because you see, each and every one of you have something very special in your heart that makes you come back to this organization and makes you take care of your community, and you need to help share that information. Someone very special planted a seed in your heart to care about this organization, and I hope that every time you come to meetings like this or or anytime you're doing American Legion activities, that you're remembering that person who planted that seed in your heart to make you care. And then I hope that you're taking just a little piece of that or a big piece of that and passing that love of this organization, this family, onto someone else. And as you pass that seed and that hope and that information and mentor, I hope you're helping to grow this organization one person at a time as you continue to mentor everyone along. Because you see, every moment that you spend on American Legion family activities is a statement of faith. It's a statement that you believe in our organization and you believe in what we stand for. Because together we are making a difference in this nation. So I thank each and every one of you for the moment and the time that you spent in uniform. I thank you for the time you spent supporting us while we were away. I thank you for your current service to this nation, and I thank you for your continued service for this nation. But what I really want to do is thank you. I want to thank you for always putting our families first. Thank you. I have just asked for a moment of privilege, so if you please have a seat. Now, what some of you may or may not know, every year the National Commander candidates, there's 2 years worth of campaigning that goes on, and when you're the leading candidate, the candidate is responsible for transportation from the Sheraton Hotel for the Legionnaires up to national headquarters. And in the last couple years, the leading candidate has had to rent vans from a rental place and spend lots of money to do that. And last year when I came to visit, I talked to then Adjutant Hugh, and I said, you know, I just realized how many vans the Department of Indiana has and wondered if it'd be possible to save the campaign some money to use one or two of your vans. And Hugh and the rest of your executive committee said yes, that we could use the vans. Now, the last time, as we were leaving headquarters last spring from those meetings and we were being rushed out because we had to go someplace else, the last time I saw that van, it was parked in front of national headquarters with a flat tire. And we just left town. So, but Danny Rice was helping with it, as you know, on all the post members helped drive back and forth. But because of the savings that we had and not having to pay a rental agency for those vans, I would like to, on behalf of my campaign, Team Wisconsin, make a $500 contribution to iVets for you.
Well, how about that? That's pretty nice. You know, I tell you what, the commander was talking about crying on a telephone. Now, when I was in basic training, I never, ever cried on that telephone. And you know why? You know, do you guys remember we used to have those telephone booths? That drill sergeant was standing right in front of that telephone booth. Hi, Mom, how you doing? I'll see you in a couple weeks. Everything's fine, thank you, bye. And then we got whacked and kicked and smacked on the helmet, and that's when I cried, so. Anyways, Commander Rowan, thank you for being here this weekend. It has truly been an honor and a pleasure to spend time with you and to get to know you a little bit more. We certainly want to let you know that you are always welcome to be our guest here in the great state of Indiana. All right, a little change of pace here. At this time, I'd like to call on Northern Vice Commander Jim Hamilton to the podium for the purpose of a presentation.
As the department commander has said, the National Convention was historic. It was historic because of the volunteers, the Blue Cappers, all the work that they have done in their programs in the hometowns where they live is actually what leads to these historic opportunities that we have. As a testament to that, the Department of Indiana was also recognized for your efforts and your generosity. At this time, I'd like to call on 2016-2017 past Department Commander James B. May to join Commander Dzieglowicz on the lower stage. Under Commander May's watch, our Indiana membership was recognized on stage at the National Convention as having raised the highest national emergency fund donations total in our Big 12 category. Those dollars given to the National Emergency Fund, are helping our fellow Americans who are recovering from the devastating hurricanes that made landfall on Puerto Rico, Florida, and Texas. Outstanding job, Legionnaires.
Yes, we are. Okay. Let me give you a little insight here. Certificate of recognition for the highest donation amount in the Category 2 for the National Emergency Fund, presented to the Department of Indiana in recognition and sincere appreciation for your contributions to the National Emergency Fund. Through your caring and thoughtfulness, Legionnaires and their families are provided necessary financial assistance during their time of need. The American Legion commends your service and extends its sincere gratitude for your continuous efforts while we carry the legacy forward. In witness whereof, this testimonial of personal gratitude is given under the hand of the National Commander and duly attested by the National Adjutant at Reno, Nevada during the 2017 National Convention. Presented to Department of Indiana, the head guy, Charles Smith, National Commander, National Adjutant. There you go, Commander.
Thank you.
Say a few words.
You're good. I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody in Indiana. This is yours.
That completes my presentation, Mr. Commander. I want to thank you for allowing me to serve you as your Vice Commander.
Anytime. Stop by again.
I will.
All right, well, at this time, all of this is possible because we are a family. The Legion Auxiliary, Sons, and the Riders. The Indiana Legion is fortunate to have the support of an active and growing membership in the American Legion Auxiliary. Without their efforts, we would not be able to accomplish many of the things we do. Please join me in a warm Indiana Legion welcome for the President of the Indiana Department Auxiliary, Judy Morris. Madam President.
I can't write on my hand. National Commander Rowland. Commander, good morning. Thank you all for inviting me today, and I enjoyed my time yesterday with the National Commander. At this time, first, can I introduce my officers? NEC Peggy Bishop, If you hold your applause till we get done here. President-elect Betty Slagle, Vice President Jenny Monty, Chaplain, your First Lady, Roseanne Zikowitz, Historian Pam Shook, Sergeant of Arms Anna Toomey. Then I have a couple district presidents. 3rd District, we got Joy Miller. And 4th District, Joni Tempe. And then would any chairman out there, any department chairman? I worked them really hard last weekend. Last weekend was our fall conference. And then I see one of our past department presidents. Would you please stand? Without them, we would be in a world of hurt. Thank you, Rosie Newman. My slogan this year is reflecting our past to better serve our veterans. I'm using Betsy Ross that made the American flag. We need to get back to being patriotic and respect for the American flag. My projects this year, the IVH, is to buy medical equipment, and they are in need for a couple long-term beds, oxygen concentrators, and if we have any funds left, to buy a couple lift chairs. My veterans project, I'm very proud to say, is IVETS. We're working with the Legion this year. I believe it's time for us to help our own veterans, which are all of you. So I'm very excited that all the money we raise this year will stay in the Department of Indiana. Legion Day, I can't thank you all enough. We had a bake sale auction, and thanks to your contributions, we raised $1,150.36 for IVETS. Very, very proud of that, and we're still collecting money all year. Along with the SAL, their See a Vet, Thank a Vet. I've made these little postcards up, and we've all written thank you for serving, and I'm passing them out all year to all our veterans when we visit the hospitals and everywhere else. Our junior auxiliary president is Alexis Cooley. Her project this year is OCW, so she's collecting money for Operation Comfort Warriors. Let's see, last week, we are working our membership really hard, keep up with the Legion. I am very proud to say we collected 3,783 cards last week. It's been a long week. And I'm very happy. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. But last week, I planned a trip to the USO in Camp Atterbury with the officers, and we had our National Central Division Vice President with us. And I arranged to serve the veterans lunch. We had grilled cheese, tomato soup, and homemade cookies. But we were in awe because when we started to cook, the crock pots didn't heat up. We couldn't find any pots to stir anything in. The griddles were all worn. So I've asked the auxiliary, and I'm asking you guys too, if anybody has any spare money, we would like to buy some new crock pots, some new spoons, some pots and pans. These are our veterans down there, and that's what we are here for, to help them. So if anybody's got any $5, $10 spare money, I want to go back, serve them lunch again, and take these new items for them. So I need your help if you can help. I want to thank you all for your service, and because of you, we belong to this wonderful organization. And it's been a wonderful serving our commander and the SAL as a Legion family this year. So, thank you. That's it.
Thank you, President Judy. Good luck to you and your ladies of the auxiliary as you continue to support our Hoosier veterans, communities, and the American Legion organization. Let's give her and her team another hand. You know, I tell you what, Will and John, you're going to have to get your act together over here. We've been trying to get into Camp Atterbury, and here they get over there, and we don't get over there. They must like the ladies, I think, better. Well, we still may get a prepare to go for a visit down there for all you. Well, let's see. I know the Army guys will like it, but that's okay. The Marines can figure out how to walk around there too. And the fly boys and the Navy guys. But that's all right. Okay. Indiana is home to a large, active, and successful detachment of the Sons of the American Legion. In fact, they're the largest SAL we've ever seen in this department. In addition to supporting our department activities, they consistently rank at the top in national membership and activities too. We're proud of our group, and I think they're very outstanding citizens. Please welcome their leader today, Indiana SAL Detachment Commander Dewey Long.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the invite. Well, I don't know how you do it. We always got to move this up. I don't understand it. Good morning, everyone. Commander Marty, National Commander Denise, it's an honor and a pleasure to be with the heroes. The heroes are you blue cappers. You guys fought for it all. You gave us the right to be where we are today. For that, I thank you. I'm going to introduce my officers. If you'll stand up and stay standing while I got you there. My Northern Vice, Mr. Mike Schuler. Southern Vice, Jeff Coulter. Membership, Dennis Hathaway. Assistant Adjutant, Jim Arter. PR, Doug Heiser. Assistant Sergeant at Arms, Garrett Gilmore. Finance, Greg Spaulding. Chaplain, Jared Long. Also, would all my district commanders please rise? All my PDCs please rise. That's you too, Glenn. Stand up if you can. Oh, there he is. He's up. Okay. These guys help make my job a whole lot easier. And before you sit down, another group of people that I honor and respect more than anything, and it's always cool to be a dual. Will all the duals please stand up? What a crowd. What a crowd. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. We're doing what we can to make sure that when we see a vet, we thank a vet. It's pretty plain and simple. I've asked all my members when they go out, whether it's on vacation, getting groceries, whatever, you see a veteran walking down the street, he's got his Vietnam hat on, he's got his World War II hat on, stop and just give those two simple words. Thank you. That's something that you all have not heard enough of. We're here to support all the programs that Commander Marty's got going, President Judy's got going. I'm going to see every time I look at you, because you are so powerful, you make me nervous. I won't go into details. I'll let you do that. But it's always a great pleasure to be here with you. And if there's anything me and my sons can do, let us know. One of the things, my project this year is COTA, Children's Organ Transplant Association. All the money we raise stays with the kids here in Indiana. We're down to 94 kids on that waiting list for transplant right now. All of it stays right here. If any of the squadrons or the post, the district, is having something for COTA, let us know, because we'll get a Coda family there. We'll get, and you'll actually get to hear from some of them. I met with a little boy about 3 weeks ago, I guess it was. When he was 6 months old, he had 4 transplants: stomach, pancreas, liver, and bowel. Happy to say now he's a little over 10 years old and the newest member of Squadron 196. Again, I want to thank you all for everything that you've done for us, and if there's anything we can do for you, please let us know.
Thank you very much, Commander Long. You represent the finest the SAL has to offer, and Indiana is very proud of its sons. At this time, I'd like to recall to the stage our newly elected National Executive Committeeman, Jerry Jordan, for the purposes of a presentation. Jerry?
Thank you again, Commander. Thank you again, Legionnaires. Again, I have an honor to speak with you this morning because we have someone in our audience that this American Legion family owes a great debt of gratitude. So, Paul Stewart, would you please come forward on the stage with our department commander, please? Now, Paul assumed this responsibility about 8 years ago, 4 of which I had the greatest pleasure to serve with him. And he tackled that commitment for 8 years just like he's tackled everything in the American Legion. 8 years he represented the Department of Indiana at our national level. 4 years as your alternate NEC and 4 as your NEC. I think we all can agree that we could not have picked a better person to represent the Department of Indiana on the national level. He remained dedicated to his post, to his district, and to the Department of Indiana, but more importantly, to his family and to his faith. For 4 years, I've never known him to miss a meeting or to be late. That alone in the 8 years, or the 4 years that I've known him, is quite a feat. Speak of temperament, yet exactly the right temperament for this job. He has strong feelings and strong convictions, but he has the unique ability to listen without judgment to someone else's point of view or their ideas. During the 4 years I served with him, I don't recall a time that he raised his voice, but he has always managed to get his point across, and I am proud to call him my friend. Leaving the national meetings for the last time, last fall, walking down the street, Paul says, 4 years we've never had a cross word. No, my friend, we haven't. Department of Indiana, we owe him a great debt of gratitude. Let's show him how much we appreciate him. I have a little plaque there for you. Come here, Paul.
Couldn't pick a nicer guy. National Executive Committeeman from 2015 to 2017, Paul Stewart, American Legion, Department of Indiana. He truly changes lives.
Well, what a surprise. For 8 years, I come in here and I have on a suit and a tie. And I dressed down one day, and look what you do. But I got to tell you, the pleasure has been mine serving you. When the opportunity came, I told you I would do my best to represent the Department of Indiana as professionally as I could. I've been a part of the family. And the ladies, I'm going to miss addressing you at Girl State. I'll be there. But thank you all so much. Really appreciate it. And I really appreciate Darrell, Past N.E. Seaman, and Jerry. As Jerry said, for 4 years, never once a crossword, never once a misunderstanding. And the same goes for Darrell. And I tell you, that's awesome. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't want to pull this out of it. Thank you, Commander, once again for allowing me a few minutes of your time this morning. That completes my presentation.
Thank you, Jerry. As you know, the U.S. has been hit hard this year by several catastrophic storms. Recovery is an ongoing project, and the American Legion is there. We were able to make a proactive effort in providing to our brothers and sisters in Florida and Texas, and we continue to support the National Emergency Fund. The American Legion worked closely with several corporations to obtain donations, and a special commitment made by Teamsters Local 135 and Kenneth Dowden, Wayne Post 64. I want you all to please direct again your attention to the screens right and left for a video highlighting your efforts to make all this possible.
With thousands of families displaced from Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Irma in the crosshairs, it's time for the American Legion, Department of Indiana, to do what we've done best for the last 100 years, and that's help our fellow American families in their time of need. Local Teamsters 135 has donated this 53-foot-long trailer for us to fill with comfort items and supplies for those families in need. Teamsters 135 will personally drive this trailer down to the crisis area. It's up to us to fill this trailer up with hygiene products, non-perishable food items, and water. Join us at American Legion Day on Sunday, September 10th, here at Department Headquarters in Lawrence, Indiana, and bring those comfort items to help those families in need. Thank you.
Wow, I got it right.
We've got everything pretty much loaded up with the truck. It's going to head out, and it's going to go to a nearby location, load up a few more things, and then it's going to head out onto the highway and head down your way to Florida.
We are ecstatic to hear what you are attempting to do to help us out, and we're looking forward to receiving the tractor trailer. We'll be ready to unload her, and then we will sort the materials out and present them to the various distribution points so those materials get to the hands of those that need it the most.
The pallets got here and we're waiting for them to get inside, and once they got here, we were splitting everything up and basically putting it on these tables that you see behind us and sorting it. And now we're getting it ready to go to 3 different places right now in the state of Florida.
Veterans are trying to help each other, and that's exactly what the American Legion is all about, helping one another, regardless of race, creed, regardless of color, regardless of their status. We're here to help one another and to help our communities, and we will. But we can't do it alone. The state was hit hard, so we need as much support as we can from all the others, and it's starting to come in. Indiana started us off with a truck today. We can thank the Department of Indiana, the American Legion family, enough. You guys, we salute you all, and we thank the Teamsters Local 135 for coming down here with that truck. Driver was awesome. It's been a tremendous outpouring of love and affection to get a job done. Again, vets helping vets, and that's exactly what we do.
See, even the Florida mascot said hi. Again, none of this would be possible without the concerted efforts of our entire Legion family and you, the volunteers in the field. It all comes down to those words you see written on that screen: we change lives. Today we get the opportunity to honor our volunteers who are out there truly making a positive impact on our communities. And in that spirit, I ask the representatives of Kenneth Dowden, Wayne Post 64, and Teamsters Local 135, please join me on the lower stage. Northern Vice Denny Pettit, please take the podium for the purpose of presentation.
Thank you, Commander. As you all saw in the video, nothing is impossible when our American Legion family associates ourselves together in a devotion to mutual helpfulness. It's right there in the preamble. So it all started with an idea at Post 64. Without their generosity and their connections with the Teamsters Local 135, Post 64 donated more than $10,000, 20 pallets of water for the cause, spearheaded this effort and making it all possible. That is why 64 has earned the American Legion Department of Indiana's We Change Lives Award. I'll read the citation here for you. In recognition of your outstanding, proactive disaster response, raising donations, collecting supplies, and organizing logistics to provide relief in the aftermath of the historic and catastrophic hurricanes that brought significant damage and destruction to the U.S. mainland during summer 2017. The spirit, attitude, and utmost dedication of our American Legion family members embodied the true character of our organization and reflects great credit upon Indianapolis Post 64, 11th District, and the American Legion Department of Indiana. Let's give them a hand.
I really appreciate that, and I really think everybody in Florida did too.
Mentioned that this would have never happened and we could not donate what we donate without our members, Auxiliary SAL and Legionnaires. So thank you.
Again, none of this would have been possible without Teamsters Local 135, who donated their time, equipment, and manpower to support this effort. Specifically, Rick Smith, who drove the trailer to Department of Florida headquarters in Orlando just days after the storm. Please direct your attention to the screen for a short video of Department's call to action with Rick.
Hey everybody, Tim Sproles here, Communications Director for the American Legion Department of Indiana, and I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, Rick Smith.
Teamster Local 135 business, Fred, truck driver.
All right, so what, we got everything loaded up?
Yes, we do.
What do you kind of expect going down there?
Well, let's hope we get down there and don't run into difficulty with too much traffic, hoping people getting home safe and come in behind them there and get some of these goods down to the people that really need them.
Good deal. And we're gonna continue to update you on Facebook and Twitter, so keep watching out for that. But from here at the Department of Indiana headquarters, we're heading out, and we will see you
in Florida.
All right.
I tell you, this gentleman put the hammer down and the pedal to the metal and made it down there in record time. And I'd like to present him with this plaque.
Thank you very much, sir.
Did a great job. You know what? Without these people helping us, you know, we'd never get anything done, and that's all because of you and them.
Rick?
Rick, it's been brought to our attention your father and grandfather probably served in the military.
Yes, sir.
Sir, here's your SAL card. Thank you.
Okay, sure will.
Without your help, doing what you do for 24 hours a day, thankless job, that's the least we can do at Post 64 to make you an honorary member of our exit. We expect paperwork soon.
Be my guest. You got the stage.
Well, I just remembered it. Also want to let you know that the president for 135, Danny Barton, is a member of Post 64, and so is George Smith, who set up this whole thing. So they're Legionnaires.
Commander, that completes my presentation. Thank you for allowing me to serve you.
Oh, thanks for stopping in again.
No problem.
Did a good job. Oh, let's see. This is an important gentleman. I would like to welcome my good friend and buddy and all that good stuff. Your 2017, 2018 Department Membership Chairman Ron Byerly for a report and maybe some progress on membership. Let's see what happens.
Thank you, Commander. We don't have a total yet, but we will this afternoon. We have a revitalization that we started last weekend. I know some of you are tired of hearing about it, but we'll never quit talking about it. We made a lot of phone calls last week and throughout the district and thank all the district commanders and their teams for what they did, but this goes on.
Now it's down to the Blue Cap Legionnaires to get out in their post, to contact the ones that are left, whether it be by mail or by knocking on doors. We did find out something with this revitalization, that our target audience in Indiana, even though we're welcoming all our young vets, is still 45 to 65. The first Gulf War, the Vietnam veterans were the crux of what we had out there. I appreciate everyone's help. Off-premise membership drives, we've got a lot of those going on, and we will continue those. We're in phase 2 of that, guys, so there's awards out there for our districts that have the most. That ends in November. It'll get cold, so we need to get out of the post now and do this. And our family, Commander Rowan's message, family first. We've asked our auxiliary sons this year to recruit for us. Every Legionnaire they recruit, their name goes in a drawing. We'll have our first 2 drawings tonight for $250 each. And I hope it's an SAL or auxiliary that wins it. So, but I thank you, Commander. I thank you for allowing me to serve as your membership chairman, and we'll update this report later.
I tell you what, Ron puts in a whole lot of time, and I thank him very much for that. At this time, I'd like to call on a special guest with us here today. Her name is Melissa Williams. She is a senior strategic accounts manager with Walgreens. Walgreens is in partnership with the VA and are providing free flu shots for the veterans this season. They'll be set up in the Freedom Hall A after the session to provide these shots here at our conference. So if you need it, get it. Melissa, would you please come forward, please?
Good morning. Thank you for having us here today. You did half my job for me already, so I don't have a whole lot left to say, but get your flu shot, right? Really, it's a pleasure being here. My husband, who's a veteran, wanted to tag along with me, but he gets to stay home and make French toast with our 2 little girls instead. But it is a pleasure to be here with you today, and most importantly, thank you all for your service. I thought you might be interested in hearing a little bit about Walgreens' history with supporting American troops and veterans. Our history started with our founder, Charles Walgreen, who enlisted with the 1st Illinois Volunteer Infantry at the beginning of the Spanish-American War. During World War II, Walgreens opened a non-for-profit pharmacy in the Pentagon, whose profits all went to the Pentagon Restaurant Council, which oversees food service in the facility. That pharmacy received formal recognition from President Eisenhower himself and actually operated into the mid-1980s. Over the decades since World War II, we have continued to support our military through donations and sending comfort items over to deployed troops in various conflicts. And today, we continue to celebrate your service and sacrifices. In 2017, we have and will offer discounts to all veterans, active military, and their families on Memorial Day, Independence Day, and upcoming Veterans Day. So please come see us. Also in January, we were welcomed back to the TRICARE network. So we are able to support those members as well, which we're very excited about. Also this year, we forged a partnership with the VFW and have been on the road promoting mental health awareness to veterans and their families, and will continue to do so over the years to come. And for the 5th consecutive year, we have partnered with the Veterans Health Administration to be the only retail provider of flu vaccinations. So that is the primary driver of us being here today. Please, if you haven't already, I know it was 90 degrees last week, but believe it or not, flu season is here. So please get vaccinated. We are happy to do that for you today. If you are a VA patient, all you need is your VA ID. If you're anyone else, just show us your insurance card. And if you don't want, which I'd like to chat with you about that, but if you don't want or need your flu vaccination, please stop by and see us anyways. We would love to talk to you about how we can support your overall health and well-being. Thank you again for allowing us to be here to give back to you who have given so much to us. Appreciate it.
I'll be stopping you. All right. Freedom Hall A, be there. I need to get one too. Although I already had a couple shots this morning, that's how I made it through. Well, thanks for being here today, Melissa, and thanks for everything you're doing for the veterans. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to call on the 2016-2017 Director of Hoosier Boys State, Bob Oath, for the purpose of a Boys State Award presentation. I think you have another gentleman you're going to introduce too, I believe, but come on down, sir, or come on up.
Thank you, Commander. And yes, our enrollment chairman, Steve Bowman, can't be with us today because his mother has fallen ill, and he's attending with her back in Vincennes. So I've asked that past department commander Jimmy May come to the podium or the lower stage and be a part of this. Commander Denise, it's always a pleasure to be with you. I've met you many years ago back in the Americanism conferences in downtown, so I know that you're all about Boys State and Girls State. This year, the American Legion Hoosier Boys State program was a great experience for 404 young men across the state of Indiana. And we want to recognize the enrollment chairman today that put in countless hours towards getting these young men to our program at Trine University. We had a tie this year for third place. If I can find this year, the two districts to finish in a tie for third, like I said. Would Mr. Scott Weiler from the 2nd District please come to the lower stage, and the 9th District, Mr. Jim Tracy. Both of these districts recruited 46 delegates for this year's program. In our 2nd place, it was the 7th District, and it was co-chaired by Mr. Steve Bowman and Gary Toomey. And I don't know, did Gary come up? Would the 7th District Commander please come forward and present it to somebody besides Jimmy May to take home another award? Steve and Gary together recruited 60 delegates for the program this year. This year, our top district to enrollment chairman, who once again, I haven't called your name yet, Rodney, has stepped forward, went out and done his thing for, I don't know, about the 3rd or 4th, maybe 5th year, to lead all enrollment chairmen with recruiting, and it was from the 6th District, Mr. Rodney Strong, who recruited 74 delegates to attend the program.
Boys State, get out there, talk to your schools. If you're having problems getting into the schools, if you know a parent, somebody on the board, talk to them, talk to the superintendents, get in there, recruit. It's a great program. Let's build it up. My challenge for all of them last year was 80. We didn't get it from each district. This year will be 81.
Sound like a politician. Now, if you've done the quick math on this, these 4 districts together totaled 226 delegates. Our total delegates for the whole program this year was 404. So the other 7 districts, we accumulated 178. So just look what we could do if the bottom 7 would jump up and do what these top 4 have done. It would increase our program dramatically. And with that, I invite anybody, just own personal privilege to you, that if you want to know more about Boys State, maybe you got some questions about the enrollment process, how to get these boys registered, since it's all online and everything, come to the enrollment committee meeting, and I think it's at 1 o'clock. You can check the schedule and make sure. We've got our tech man that created all this, and he's going to put it up on the big screen and go over it and show you just how easy it is and the procedures you need to go through at the post level. So with that, I want to say thank you, Commander, for serving. But I will introduce your next Hoosier Boys State Director, Mr. Scott Weiler from the 2nd District. So Scott will take over today.
Scott, do you want to say something? I kind of thought so.
Thank you, Mr. Commander. Thank you, Commander Denise. To enhance what Denise said about the Legion family and about how this all comes together. 8 years ago, I was diagnosed with male breast cancer. So that was pretty rough. And through the great care at the VA, I became quite a frequent flyer. 16 chemos, 33 radiations, and here I am on the green side of the grass. Can't go wrong. So everything's gone good until earlier this summer, and I developed a hernia. Okay, so again, frequent flyer at the VA, go through all the process, and I get a CAT scan on a Friday. I get a phone call on Monday. Get back here to the VA right away. Got to make an appointment with a urologist. I thought, urologist? That's not, things aren't connected, okay? I go to this urologist. Nice young man, if you will, 30-something compared to me. But he sat me down and said, we have found through the CAT scan for your hernia that you have a tumor on your kidney. And we were probably going to have to take the kidney out. It was called renal cell carcinoma. He says, we don't know for sure, but we got to do a biopsy to make sure. Okay, they do the biopsy, and I get another phone call, and they get in here right away. I thought, God, more bad news. You're kidding. How could it get any worse? They're going to take both kidneys. Son of a gun. Well, let's do it. So go back in, and this doctor comes in, and he says, I have great news for you. You don't have cancer. You don't have renal cell carcinoma. You have oncocytoma. Another big word. It's just a growth on the tumor, on the kidney, and not a tumor. The thing was, anytime I go to the VA, I always have a Boys State or American Legion shirt on. And this young doctor said, oh, by the way, I went to Boys State, and I went to Boys Nation from Georgia. And I said, oh, well, you know Bob Turner. He says, oh, yeah. And I thought, wow, that's a silly question. Anybody involved with the Legion at the department and national level knows Bob Turner, of course. That was pretty cool. And he said, you know, it really was good because the Legion gave me a lot of scholarship money to help pay off my my student loans from med school. I thought that was pretty cool. So there was a time when a young man, 17, received something from the Legion, very valuable. There was a time when that came full turn when he gave me the good news that I didn't have cancer. And that's what Boys State is about to me. And I'm very grateful to the board of directors and to the Legion family, as Commander says, for this opportunity to serve as the program director. Now, I've been involved with this. This will be year 29 for me. And one of the great traditions of Boys State, although it's kind of a sad one, is that if you're familiar, we have yellow guidon flags that designate the counties, and blue flags that designate our 12 cities. So when Jim Couts became the national commander, we said, hey, this is something special. We need to really make Jim's flag stand out. So we gave him a red flag. So when I switched the flags around, I accidentally put his flag back in the box. I didn't give it to him. And well, as you can see, Jim Couts is very alive. We're not going to get and we want to keep it that way. But in honor of that, Jim, I would like to present you with your Boys State guidon flag that flew proudly over Couch City for somewhere between 20 and 25 years. It's been a while. Too long. Too long. Okay. So now you have a red flag that flies over Couch City, or Couch County. I'm sorry, you got promoted. You're a county now. Oh. So Couch County now has the red Boys State flag that flies over the guidon. So thank you very much. It's a pleasure to serve this and do this. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Oh, and at the 1 o'clock meeting, we're going to go over the process that Brandon has put together. It's phenomenal. We do everything online now. So from a post level, all you got to do is give the young man the information. Here's where you apply. The hardest thing you got to do is write that $300 check. And we want to make that easy too, somehow. We got to do it. Outside sponsors, inside promotion, whatever we do, we got to sponsorship. Enrollment sponsorship, those are the two big things that we got to work on. And that's the thing we're going to do. So thank you very much. See you at 1 o'clock.
Boy, they had to dry clean that flag after all those years. Doesn't look too bad. Well, let's see. Mr. Oath, I just want to thank you for doing your participation today. And we'll be moving on. But before that, I'd like to talk about my commander's project this year. My project is actually comprised of two efforts. First, for our veterans, the donation to IVETS. And as you know, Jimmy May started this program off, and we're trying to keep it going, fully funded. It's a great program, but those funds are not inexhaustible. So please keep that in mind. 100% of your donations go directly to the veterans in need right here in the state of Indiana. Now, the second piece of my project, I really need some bucks for this too. You know, that awful looking sign that's in front of our department headquarters is really shabby. It's starting to shake in the wind now. It's on the old soccer sign. It's a vinyl sign. It's faded, worn. And, you know, we're right in that Fort Benjamin Harrison area. You zip by the department, you see the flags up there, but you don't know what the heck this is, you know. I don't know, it's a house, is it a nice looking barn, or I don't know, but you zip by and you got the flags there, and you got this sign, nobody even knows what's on that sign because it's so faded. So, with that in mind, the sign really doesn't do our place justice. So the city of Lawrence has very strict codes, though, And we have to adhere to them when we're finalizing our plans to replace this piece of junk that we have there with a beautiful lighted brick display, something worthy to represent the state of Indiana. It's taking a little time. The engineers have actually had the schematic of one sign, but we're changing it a little bit, make it a little more visible. They're working on the plans, and then we have to see the Fort Bend Harrison Restoration Council to make sure this all gets approved. That'll be taking place shortly, and hopefully the funds come in to get this project moving. Thank you at this time, and I'd like to call on our department adjutant for some final comments. Adjutant?
Thank you, Commander. Just one reminder, we've got Legionnaire Insurance and Trust out in the atrium. If you have not signed up for your free, it's a complimentary life insurance plan. So if you are on Legion business, you get up to $3,000, $1,000 supplemental otherwise if you're not on Legion business. But that's a tremendous benefit to you as a member of this organization. So I encourage you all, if you have not signed up for that, or if you have folks that you know that may not have signed up for that, please encourage that participation as much as possible. At this time, Commander, if you'd step down to the lower stage, we'd like to call on any presentations to the Commander. If you have any donations or presentations you'd like to make, please come and make those presentations at this time.
Okay. We're set to roll. Hey, we even got a couple of people. That's great. Now, I would like for you to state your name and how much your donation is.
Ed Giltner. We have a donation from the 8th District for IVH for $334.98.
Thank you. Next in line. How you doing?
All right, great. Brian Barnett, Post Commander of Post 335 in Charlestown. On behalf of the American Legion family at our post, I'd like to present a check for $800 for the Homeless Veterans Fund.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Commander Charlie Ayers, Post 42, American Legion Riders. I have a
Step
check.
right up.
Oh, sorry. Have a check I'd like to present for Operation Comfort Warrior, $2,500. And for the American Legion IVETS program, $500.
Thank you. And who is this gentleman here? Say a few words.
I don't have any words to say, Commander.
My friend John Babala.
We don't have a story like the national commander did. We just ride on two wheels, though, to get our money. Thank you.
I think everybody knows this gentleman, but I'll let him speak anyway.
I'm Ken Hilton. Thank you. Commander, on behalf of Post 464, we'd like to donate $500 to the National Emergency Fund.
Thank you. Very good.
Thank you.
Commander?
Mr. Burnett.
My name is David Burnett. I'm 5th District Membership Chairman. Visiting Post 87. This is a $100 donation to the Cadet Law Enforcement Program.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Bud Stroh, Post 257, Fremont, Indiana. I present you with a check for $500 for the Hurricane Relief Fund.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Commander.
Hey, long time no see.
Don Hudson from Post 155 in the 6th District. Every year our post has a golf tournament to raise funds for our charities, which is our Post Scholarship Fund, the HVAF, and Indiana Veterans Home. So I have 2 checks here. I have one for the Indiana Veterans Home General Fund, which is $3,000. And we found out a few years ago that the guys up there don't have a whole lot of recreation funds, so I have another check here for Indiana Veterans Home Recreation Fund for $1,000. Thank you, Commander.
Commander, I'd like to present a check from American Legion Post 369 for your sign project. $369.
Yes.
Bob Schnell from Speedway Post 500. I have a check here today for Operation Comfort Warrior, but I got a little story to go with it. We started this program in 2009. We lost one of our members on the War on Terror, so we wanted to keep that memory alive. So when the riders decided we'll start doing a ride in his memory, which is the Zach Nordmeyer ride that we've been doing for 9 years. And in the first year, we give our check to Legacy Scholarship Fund. And in 2010, we start giving our checks to the Operation Comfort Warrior. So with this check today of $12,752, we'll have give $107,211.
On behalf of Post 500, during my visit yesterday, Post 500 presented me with a check for $500 for temporary financial assistance emergency fund, and then the auxiliary answered back for the auxiliary unit 500 for another $500 for the temporary financial assistance. So I'm presenting them to you so the Department of Indiana gets credit for those. You bet. Thanks.
Boy, that national commander can come to all our conferences.
Commander, that's about $23,000 of donations right there. That's very good. Very good. That's all I have, Commander.
Boy, what a difference with without you. You know, this meeting is going really quick. Is you here today? No, I didn't think he was going to come today. That's okay. We got to have a little fun. Well, listen, I just want to thank everybody for their generosity. And, you know, without you, it'd be really tough trying to make anything. Well, our business is nearly completed for the general session. Is there any unfinished business to come before this meeting? Well, I got a little unfinished business. Let me digress for one moment. Don't forget, we do have a party here tonight. And like I've been saying all year, all work and no play makes for a dull legionnaire. So you're going to party with Commander Marty tonight. And we have some special stuff going on, so come on down, you'll have some fun. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for taking time to attend this conference. I know it will be well worth your while to be here, and I encourage you to participate in many of the scheduled events going on today. I also want to remind you of the conference party tonight again, so don't forget it. It opens up at 7:30, so stop in. I look forward to seeing everybody there. Now, would you please stand I call for the department chaplain, Norris Kern, for the benediction.
Shall we be in an attitude of prayer? Our gracious God, when we ask for your heavenly benediction upon this assembly, we are mindful that you give peace, you give comfort, and you send us forth to do diligently our duties, not alone, but with the presence of your Spirit to guide us. And we are thankful. And we remember at this point our Gold Star families, prisoner of war families, and MIA. For these families know the ultimate price of freedom. And let that be an inspiration to us as we continue in our duties. Bless us. May we give you the glory. For it is in your divine name that we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. I just want to remind everybody, boy, that was a smooth opening so far today. And don't forget, you've got some meetings to attend. We would appreciate seeing you there. The colors of our country being in their proper position, please join me in a hand salute. 1, 2. I declare this session to be adjourned. Please report to all your scheduled meetings. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.